What's up, everybody? This is Frank with Frankly Collecting, and today we're going to be looking at my top picks from the latest expansion to Final Fantasy TCG, Rebellion's Call. I've chosen 5 cards that I believe will have the best fundamentals for collectors going forward. Keep in mind, this is just my personal opinion, so there is definitely a heavy load of subjectivity involved in this, and that includes a lot of characters that are from games that maybe I didn't play growing up, and so on. Remember, it's just my very speculative opinion. Take it with a grain of salt, and it is absolutely not financial advice. But these are the cards that I will be gravitating toward more than any other card in the set. So grab a cup of coffee, and let's get right into it. Our first card on the list from Rebellion's Call is this Ishtola full art reprint. Now, I have played a lot of Final Fantasy 14, and Ishtola is one of the main characters from that set. And I am very bullish on this card. Even though Ishtola has been printed before, I actually have a few different Ishtola cards from different sets and promo versions. So Ishtola has been printed before, but I really love the eye appeal of this full art. I don't think there's ever been a full art of Ishtola before, and we know that full arts are very, very sought after in the Final Fantasy TCG. You'll also notice here that she has her Black Mage garb on from Final Fantasy 14. So she actually transformed into a Black Mage late in the Final Fantasy 14 story arc. So this is a really sort of pivotal form of Ishtola as well. I love the eye appeal of this card with the sunset in the background, her kind of looking out over the horizon in a very sort of grand and optimistic moment. Now, the TCG Player market price for this card is sitting at $63.34. Now, you're going to notice that there's been a dip on pretty much all of these cards that I'm mentioning, and pretty much collectibles as a whole since around August. You can see a big sort of dip there, but it has kind of plateaued. So now could be a good time to pick up this and the other cards that are going to be on this list. Next up on our list is this Dancer full art. Now, I am really big on any of the full art job cards from Final Fantasy TCG. There are other jobs represented in other sets. My favorite one is the Blue Mage. I have gotten, I think, a few of those. Now, in Rebellion's Call, we have 2 job full art cards that I'm going to go over. The first one here is this Dancer card. Now, this is a common card. I'm not absolutely 100% certain about this, but one of my commenters in another one of my Final Fantasy TCG videos pointed out that the full art cards have the same pull rates no matter whether they're common, rare, legend, and so on. Now, I can't personally confirm that. I have no reason to disbelieve that information, but if that is accurate, then I believe these common cards, which are priced very much lower than the rare and heroic full arts, really do deserve to be a little bit more. But maybe people just demand that higher rarity qualifier on the card as well. Now, I think you really can't go wrong with any job full arts. I mean, most of the jobs represented in the TCG are really well represented. And there's a pretty good balance, I think, among the jobs in terms of collectors and players having their own favorite. I don't think there's just one job that really trumps all the other ones. There's a pretty good balance. And I just think that a lot of people who are playing Final Fantasy, we all have our favorite jobs, and a lot of us who are getting into the Final Fantasy TCG are going to want some cards representing our favorite jobs that we love to play. And Dancer is going to be no exception here. Now, I really love the eye appeal on this card. These vibrant sort of sunset colors in the back with the orange and the yellow, contrasting with the black and gold garb of the Dancer. The subject is depicted very elegantly here. Whether Dancer is your favorite class or not, I think there is a lot to like about the art on this card, and is going to appeal to a lot of collectors. Now, the TCG Player market price for that Dancer full art card was $23.99. Now, you can notice here with this Scholar full art, now this is also a common rarity, but its TCG Player market price is only $12.21. So that is a huge difference from the Dancer one. Now, I don't know if it has to do with the popularity of the Dancer class over Scholar. Maybe it is asking a greater waifu premium for that card. I mean, we're seeing a huge craze like in Pokemon and in White Schwartz around sort of like waifu chase cards, and maybe that one is just demanding that premium. I would argue that it is probably a little bit more of a provocatively illustrated card. So that is sort of my theory on why you're seeing more than double the price for that card versus this Scholar full art. But I still think that the eye appeal on this card is really, really nice. All other things are equal on this card. It's the common rarity, it's full art, it's a job class. I think Scholar is a pretty decent class. This one also has really attractive, vibrant contrast between the purple and blue of the background with the green book, kind of neutral gray and white attire of the Scholar. It's a very dynamic pose with the Scholar casting a spell here. I like that the Lalafell race is represented here as well. I just think that if you're a Scholar fan, if you're a Lalafell fan, if you're a Final Fantasy TCG fan, this is a great card to pick up for around 10 bucks. All right, my next card is this Alice the Ensorcelled full art. Now this is a full art rare card. Now the reason that I chose this card is the eye appeal on this. So it's not a job card, but the classic summoner class attire is so well depicted here and stands out so well. I feel like this almost could have just been like a summoner job class card unto itself. We see that classic summoner horn head garb here, brightly contrasted pink and green summoner robe. It also depicts the very popular Vieira race. I really like the almost like old school film style of the brown and beige kind of orangish hues of the background. And as always, a very elegantly depicted subject with Alice here. Now I'm not familiar with this character in particular, but again, I think it just has such strong ties to the summoner class overall. I think if you enjoy summoner, this is just a great card to pick up, whether you are familiar with the character or not. I think the strong summoner job theme combined with the overall visual appeal of the card, being the Vieira race, are all going to give this card strong fundamentals for Final Fantasy TCG collectors. TCG Player market price for this card is currently $9.28, so another great card to pick up for just 10 bucks. Lastly here, we have Glacial Wizette. Now, this is not a full art card. This is just a regular holo. This character actually does not have a full art form, and it is also the rookie card for this character. Now, I saw a great Rebellion's Call opening by YouTube channel Awesome Game. I'll put a link to that video down in the description below. But Awesome Games commented on this card, and I totally agree with his assessment. That is a very appealing regular holo card because of the standard, the flag, or the banner that is forming the backdrop for our subject here. She is also depicted really elegantly here. I love the various blues and the teal coming off of an almost purple background. And from the opening, the holo really stood out well. And this is just a really nice card to look at. Now, it is a character from Brave Exurius. I'm not familiar at all with the character, but she does have that classic Final Fantasy design. I love this particular illustration. And if you want an alternative to this card, there are other similar like Valkyrie type characters that are depicted in a similar manner with this banner behind them that you can get really, really cheap. I think the second most expensive one after Glacial is like $2 or something like that. That's just the last time I checked, and I could be wrong about that. So I can see people maybe even wanting a set of these characters. Personally, I would love to have a copy of this card in really high grade, so maybe worth to kind of pick up some raw copies, maybe send off to CGC. I think this card in particular would look really great with that blue label. Now, this is going to be a shocker because all of the other cards we looked at have seen a big dip with the overall economy and collectibles as a whole, but this card has actually spiked on release and then kind of plateaued, hit a little bit of another bump, and then is also plateauing again. So we haven't seen any of that kind of dip with this card, which is very, very interesting to me. Now, the TCG Player market price for the foil version of this, keep in mind there is a non-foil version, is $30.11. So I think there's a lot of potential for this card. I think collectors are enjoying this card already, and I think there's got to be a bright future for it. All right, that does it for my top picks for Rebellion's Call. Tell me in the comments below your favorite card from Rebellion's Call. If you like this kind of video, if you'd like to see more Final Fantasy TCG content like this, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. Help this video spread to other fans who might find value from these kinds of videos. Join our fellowship of collectors, join in the discussion, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.